to Player to Start podcast with Zach, Kat, and Jock. This is a big episode for us. We're very excited because it is our number 12. Which means we have been doing this for a full year. It's also our Christmas episode, and we have two of our favorite gamer friends with us today. We have Arlon and Parapo.
Say hi.
Hello.
Say hi,
Hello.
guys.
Hello. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us. And now Zach is going to tell you what we're talking about today.
All right. So for this episode, obviously, we were thinking about looking back at the last year of games that have come out. And we were kind of saying, what's your favorite game that came out this year? And, we were just talking about stuff like that. And so we said, let's list our personal top 5 games that we like this year. And then we thought we would just talk about them a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Start
We're going to
with
rank them, right?
5. Yep.
Rank
Yeah.
them in order? Cool.
I think so.
I
Which
think we
order
should
do
go.
you want? Do you want the S tier now? I'm just kidding.
No. We should go bottom to top. Bottom to top.
we do our top 5, one being the best, and we start, like Jock said, we start with 5. Work our way towards our favorites.
All right. You want to just jump right in it?
Okay, so we'll start with number
Let's do it.
5. I will go first.
Heck yeah.
My number 5 is a game I didn't play, but I watched a lot of gameplay of, especially at the gym, and it was Baldur's Gate. I laughed at Jock so hard whenever he no-lifed that game, but I really, really enjoyed watching the gameplay. I thought it was
Number 5.
hilarious. Yeah, that's my number 5. Sorry,
Wow.
Jock, it's your favorite game of the century or whatever, but I think it definitely deserved a spot on my top 5. It's the only one that I didn't play, but it definitely belongs. How about you, Jock? You go next.
All right, fine. For me, it was the new version of Cyberpunk, which was Phantom Liberty. I've played Cyberpunk previously, and now with Phantom Liberty coming out with new, Idris Elba as the main cast, Keanu Reeves making comeback, you coming back as V. So it was a whole new breath of fresh air. The story changed. There was a lot of gameplay change. So essentially, Cyberpunk is an older game, but Phantom Liberty is a newer part of the game. So it's like essentially a new game by itself, because it brings a whole new story and everything. So essentially it's a DLC, but at the same time it's a whole new game. So that's my number 5. What about you, Parapo?
Me, I got Like a Dragon Ishin. And actually, it's only my number 5 because I barely started playing it. Maybe I started playing it a couple weeks ago.
All right.
But I can tell, it's really good. The storyline is good. I also like the fact that they actually have voice actors. It's not just, you have a conversation, you have to read it, and that's it. You actually, I don't understand what they're saying, but I can, I read the
subtitles. Yeah.
But you can tell, you can feel what they're feeling, because, it's overall, it's a really good game. Like I said, I haven't finished it yet because I keep jumping from game to game, but that's
What kind of game is that? I've never played that.
It's a samurai game. Pretty much it's, I don't want to give any spoilers, if anybody wants to play, but it's a samurai game where somebody gets killed and you have to find out who did it, because the guy that did it was wearing a mask. So you're pretty much
spoilers,
you're pretty much finding.
I mean, if you're listening,
At the beginning, so
some spoilers for me.
it's like at the beginning, and you're pretty much finding out who's using that technique.
Okay.
So
So you're
I
trying to-
heard that with that game, you could actually have your character do karaoke and cool things like that.
Oh, that's neat.
At
That
some of
sounds
the
fun.
nightclubs, and I think that sounds funny.
I haven't gotten there yet, but I think that might be a thing, the way things are going.
I might
I
Yeah.
also read online that some of the, I don't know what to call them to be correct, but the strip clubs, whatever they call them in that game,
Yeah.
that there's footage that real footage, and I think that's kind of clever too.
Real footage?
Yeah,
Real?
supposedly.
Man.
I don't know.
Sakura's all interested now.
It's just what I heard. Someone
All right,
said it.
Arlon, what's your top 5? Your number 5 pick?
My number 5 will be RoboCop Rogue City. I haven't played the game yet, but I have seen a lot of footage of people playing it, and I think it captures what being RoboCop is, and it captures also the city that the movie is in. There are some characters that people say that they kind of ruined them, but I think it's a nice rendition of this world.
Is it?
I heard from people that they like that. They kind of like the setting of the game, but they didn't like the gameplay of it.
Is it like an origin story, Arlon? Is it like the beginning when RoboCop became RoboCop?
I don't remember how it starts because
Okay.
I have seen
I'll have to look it up.
them
I have
shooting
not looked
people.
at this game at all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. It's
Interesting.
off to you, Sakurai. What's your number?
Yeah, what's
5?
your top?
All right,
your number 5.
So mine is a game I saw a friend playing on Discord, and I was like, "Oh, this looks cool." It's called Hi-Fi Rush, and it's like a music rhythm type game where you have to time your attacks in time with the music, and you
cool.
fight like that. It's pretty neat.
Is
Is
it
it
like
one
a
of those
hack and
high stress
slash?
games that you like Overcooked or something?
It's not. It's not.
It's
Well,
like a
I mean,
Dance Revolution, but
it's
with
kind of
fighting.
like a yeah. It's kind of like a rhythm fighting game, and
That sounds cool.
I did watch it for a while, and I was like, man, this is amazing. I've never seen a game like this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's weird. I didn't hear a lot of media attention to it, but I thought it was like innovative the way they made the game. So it deserves top 5 for me.
That game was released on the download. Like Ubisoft just said, "Hey, there is the game,"
Yeah. They didn't hype it up or anything.
Oh,
and
really?
they didn't do anything, and it's really good.
Sometimes
Yeah.
those are the best games, though.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
All right. Let's move on
Yeah.
to
All right.
number.
Number
Cuatro.
4. Who's gonna go for number 4? Let's work backwards. Zach, you go. What's your number 4?
Oh, so Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, so that's my number 4. I know it might be somewhere else on somebody else's list.
For you.
down
But
there, man.
for me, I felt like it was the Zelda that was. I felt like it was Breath of the Wild ish because it's kind of is, but it was everything that Breath of the Wild should have been. You know what I mean? Like I think it was like it wasn't like super innovative, but it was like it felt like the rest of the game, the rest of the Breath of the Wild. That's what it felt like, and
Okay.
that's why it's
I
mine.
kind of get what you're saying. I don't
Yeah.
know that I agree with it, but I kind of get what you're saying.
All right.
Your idea is
Yeah.
appreciated, but I don't agree with it.
Chop it down and crumple it up and throw it away.
I mean, definitely top. It's one of the top games
Oh,
of
yeah,
this
for
year
sure.
for sure. Yeah.
For sure. What
I
about you,
think it's
Arlon?
the technical aspect of that game.
Mm,
How they put so many new mechanics, like the building
Yeah.
mechanics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's amazing
They
because
add a
some people say that it's the same world as the
Yeah.
previous game, so some people were put off by that, but
Right.
I think it's amazing technically, and a lot of developers I was reading talking about it, that is amazing how they do that.
mhm.
Yeah.
And also a little
the building
correction,
mechanic is really cool.
I say Bethesda was the developer. It was not. It was launched by Microsoft. Hi-Fi
Really?
Rush. My mistake.
Oh, it's
Oh, okay.
Microsoft. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Being a big house, they did not really, capitalize on
Right?
the marketing of
Yeah,
that.
you
I'm
don't expect
surprised.
them to
Yeah.
Yeah,
release
it's
that as a
strange.
publisher.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, it was a great game. So I hope people play it. Maybe they'll make a next one because not only I'm sorry to go back to my number 5, but like it was also like the animation in the game. It wasn't like 3D modeled. It was like anime looking, or it wasn't
Yeah.
totally like anime, kind of like Rebels Star Wars kind of animation looking. And I thought it was really cool. The whole setup, even like the environment, like beat to the sound
Yeah.
of the music.
Cool.
All right, sorry to take me back to that one.
Heroico. What you
Wait,
got,
we
Parappa?
skipped Arlon for number 4.
All right, so,
Oh,
Oh
Working
yeah.
backwards.
Arlon
Was
would
I
say-
penultimate? Okay.
so number
My
4.
number 4
Mm-hmm.
will be. Let me check my list.
You forgot.
I think it will be probably Dead Space. The
Oh,
remake.
you played that. I'm curious. We talked about that, I think, in our very first episode.
That's
We
a
talked
remake
about
of the
Dead
first
Space.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
is
you
a remake.
liked it. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's really good. And they
Nice.
improve on some levels from the original game.
Yeah.
And obviously, so many years after the first one, it looks amazing, and the atmosphere is great. So
yeah, it's a scary game too.
Spooky. Is it really scary?
It is a scary
game.
Yeah,
it is a spooky. But I'm too scared.
It's a very spooky game. It will freak you the out.
I've heard the music will really build up some anxiety, and I mean, all games do that to me.
That sounds like fun.
All right, Parappa, what about your number 4?
Me, my number 4 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. And I've always just been a big fan of Call of Duty. I know. I was expecting that. I know you're not a fan, but I was just always a fan of Call of Duty. Ever since, when was it, 2012 or something? Black Ops 3 came out. Man, I couldn't stop playing that. I will say this, though. The Modern Warfare 3 that came out, they could have released it as a DLC for Modern Warfare 2. Because they didn't really change. I guess aside from the campaign, it's pretty much the same game. They just added new
for
skins.
Multiplayer, most people say that the gunplay is significantly better than Modern Warfare 2. For the people that I've spoken to that have played 3, they say they like the gunplay in Modern Warfare 3 essentially significantly more than they like the gunplay of 2. That's what I've heard.
I don't know, but I like I said, I like it because I'm a fan, but I think they did it's a $70 DLC pretty much.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's what we're paying for. But I'm still a fan, I still like the game, so
was it the campaign that you liked so much, or the playing online, or both? Was it
No, just playing online. I just like the game in general. I like how fast it is.
I love Call of Duty for their campaigns. I love
their campaigns are amazing. The story is just it's so good. But mostly just the gameplay, really, multiplayer.
Yeah.
I primarily buy Call of Duty games only to play the single player campaign.
Yeah,
that's
and I wait for the sale.
Justify spending $70 on it anymore when there's so many good campaign games out there. An indie developer for much cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll definitely wait till they go on super sale and just
or they're free on Amazon Gaming or something, or you get it in a bundle.
All right, moving on. My number 4 is Starfield. I have spent more time in Starfield than I've done on Baldur's Gate. But over the course of time that I've played the game, there's a lot to be desired that Bethesda should have or could have delivered, but they did not. Why I say that is since Fallout 4, and the first tumble was Fallout 4 when they released it. They hyped it up, and there was a lot to be desired. But the modding community for Bethesda has always been insanely impressive, right? Look at Skyrim. There are more mods for Skyrim than any other game in this world. Same for Fallout 4. Plethora, billions of downloads if you go to, Nexus or any of the mod websites. And Starfield will get there too. Eventually it will become a good game, not because of Bethesda. It will become a good game because of the modding community. It's they release a finished product, but it's not refined, and then people refine it significantly more than Bethesda does. Starfield, enjoyable story, great campaign, everything was great, but they're at the end, when I did my 10 runs, I did not feel
10 runs.
Yeah, I played I played the crap out of that game, right? Over 200 hours, I played it, but now I don't feel like playing it. There's nothing new in there for me to go and accomplish. I did spend 200 hours. I played every single thing that I could. I am pretty sure I did not play 100% of that game, but still I feel like there was a lot to be desired for it. There was a lot, and we talked about this previously, there was a lot about persuasion and other option, intimidation. It's so the game feels so short with so many of these classes and abilities you have, and you will never use any of them, and you'll end the game and you'll be like, but why were these added when I could never use them? So that's why Starfield is number 4 on my list. Sakurai.
Okay, I'm surprised to hear that, but you know what, I agree with a lot of your criticisms of it. I agree with them.
Well, I do too, and so my number 4 is Starfield.
Oh, you.
200 hours. I played maybe 10 hours. He plays it through 10 times to the end. I played 10 hours of it, maybe got 10% of the way through the game. I did really. So the reason it's number 4 for me, because, well, first of all, it's because it was a game that was released this year that I played, so it made the list. I really like it now. I want to replay it. Now that I've played Fallout 4 a lot, I've played some other Bethesda. I struggled with the mechanics. I still think that it is annoying in a lot of ways with the mechanics. But I feel like I have a more of a fair chance at playing it now and having a better opinion.
Yeah, better understanding because you've played the previous ones now.
Trying to play Fallout New Vegas, but not being able to get past the graphics. But just the I think the story of it is really good, and I love that there's so many different ways that of gameplay and endings depending on what you choose and things like that. So I think once I get through Fallout 4, which I'm almost done with, and then I want to play some of the other Bethesda games, that I might give Starfield another shot. But I watched a ton of YouTube gameplay of this, and there's some really great streamers out there that did a really good job playing this game and making it super fun to watch. So
on your point of the graphics for Vegas, I understand that they're a little dated, so they're not as appealing now as they were when the game first came out, but I would highly recommend checking out the modding community for Vegas, because there's so many graphical enhancements that they have done that makes the game look amazing.
I need you to show me one of these days how to do all that. I went to go put a mod for Fallout 4, and it told me I was going to lose my achievements, and I don't know why, but I like to see my achievements as I go. So I was like, never mind, I don't need it.
So there's even a mod that will disable that. That will disable the thing that says you will lose achievement. It's the same thing with Starfield. Like, I had that same thing, then I looked and somebody had already released a mod that does the disabling achievements kind of deal.
A disabler.
Disable disabler.
I'll have to have you show me how to do all the modding stuff. I went into the website you told me about, and I got too nervous to do it on my own. I needed supervision or someone to help me. So I was
I'll help you out.
Away from it.
Yeah.
All right, so we are at number 3. I guess I'll go. We can work backwards again. I don't know. That's how you guys are on my screen, and so it's just kind of easier for me. So number 3 for me was Hogwarts Legacy. I thought Hogwarts was a really fun game. It was gifted to me. I would not have purchased it on my own. It was actually gifted by one of our Discord members, and it was a lot of fun. I played it through to the final mission.
Okay.
There was a lot about it that it kind of glitched out on me a few times, and graphically it ran pretty heavy, but I love the Harry Potter world and the Fantastic Beasts. I love that world, and so to be able to kind of immerse into that and play, that was really fun for me. So that's why that's my number 3.
I really liked Hogwarts too. However, the problem with Hogwarts was that it wasn't like a great game. It was great. It is the best Harry Potter universe game ever.
Yes.
However, it is, when you compare it to games, it is not a great game. So that's why I had a hard time with Hogwarts. Because as a Potter fan, I really enjoyed the environment. Like, the environment was amazing.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, I mean, just like little things from the Harry Potter lore were scattered everywhere. Yeah. And that was the game, not the storyline.
And you could pet a lot of cats.
Well,
now I want to play the game.
Priorities.
Now I need to get that game.
Well, there was a lot of hype around it too because of the big controversy of the game itself.
True.
And it was a lot of. I mean, it was pretty much all that was talked about that week. That definitely made me want to play it more.
I feel that.
Oh,
yeah, but
it feels like PR. That's strategy. Honestly.
So I'll be straight about it right now. Hogwarts did not make it in my top 5. I bought that game. I played that game. I played it about 75% of the way, and I lost interest in it. It was not as immersive for me personally as somebody who grew up when the first Harry Potter book came out, and I read it as a teenager. That was a long time ago. Yeah, I turned 40 next month, so that's how old I am. So somebody who read the books when they came out and would look forward to the books coming out and read the books and saw the movies and so on and so forth, right? I was not excited about it as much when it came out, but I still decided to play it. But I was not really... You know how games capture you and you play them, like me, especially like when Baldur's Gate came out, when Starfield came out. Initially, they had that immersion aspect to them, and they pulled me in, and I played the living crap out of them. Hogwarts was not the same way. I did not enjoy it as much as I thought I would. Like, yeah, it did not. Yeah. Even though, as somebody who saw and read all the books, every single one of them, and has them, I did not enjoy it as much as I thought.
It had a weak main story. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it had a weak main story. It felt very grindy. Like, okay, run around the entire freaking school and go find these moths. Like, okay,
it had very repetitive, like side quest things,
weird things. Like, okay, you just ran around the entire freaking school. Now you go talk to this person, go run around the entire freaking school and find this. Come on, man. Like the entire, like majority of the time you're spending inside the school, not outside, like exploring. As much as I understand that you're a student, so on and so forth, it kind of, for me personally, it did not gel really well for me.
You guys only played for the hot teacher. Admit it.
Mrs. Garlic, you mean?
Yes. Oh, I'm just kidding.
That's all I know from the game.
You knew exactly.
That's the only piece of content I know.
And Revelio.
Parappa, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Starfield. And I like the open world. I've always liked the open world games. And the only problem that I have with games like that is that I can never ever finish a story because there's so many side quests that I get distracted. I honestly tried, because I knew Jock played it like 10 times. So I'm like, I'm gonna do it, play it through once at least, and then I would just run around and some NPC would be like, oh, I need a cup of coffee, so I need to go get a cup of coffee now. That's and then I'm flying from planet to planet. But I love the story.
ADD kicked in for Brappo.
Oh yeah, big time. But it's in my top 3 because I can still go back and play it, because I know I haven't finished it yet, and I know there's so much more that I can do in it. I haven't even gotten to the building part yet because I haven't.
I would never have gotten there.
And another thing that I love about it is the glitches that it has.
Yeah, I was going to say, you broke them.
I love glitches.
Listen, Bethesda is famous for glitches. So good.
My characters, I have two accounts. One of them is extremely powerful. He owns everything. He can kill anybody in one shot. And the other one is just there sitting there. I don't really use my other account. But yeah, the glitches are amazing. I'm sure they patched most of them now, but...
they patched them.
What about you, Parappa?
One of the last ones.
He just went.
Me? He just went? Well,
for number 3.
My top 3. My number 3.
No, he just hit his third one. His third one.
I'm confused. We're going like in circles. Did I say Parappa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Apologies. It was
man,
supposed to be
how old are you,
Arlon.
man? Jesus.
Listen, 2 grandparents with dementia and Alzheimer's, man. It's not looking good.
All right, Arlon, go ahead.
All right, this is a tough one because I haven't played the game, and everyone who has played it say it's amazing.
Okay.
But I tried to play before, and maybe it was with the wrong party at the time. But I think it will be Baldur's Gate for me.
Okay.
All right.
Because I haven't played yet. But I mean, everyone says there is so many endings.
Oh God,
every decision matters.
Absolutely.
Like, the game glues you into keep playing it because you want to know what happens
too
next.
much, it matters. Do you know that?
It's
if you
funny
sleep
too.
too much,
It's so funny.
It's hilarious. It's got a lot of hilarious aspects to it. Well, I'm happy to know that Arlon has it in his top 3 at least.
We all know Arlon. He's
happy.
One of the people I go to when I am looking for a new game to play or like questioning about a game or something. So I feel like even if he hasn't played the game, if he thinks it's good, it's probably going to be good.
Yeah, he's kind of good insight on him.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, and Sakura is a little bit annoyed because Starfield was low. I mean, it made the ranks. I mean, and I guess you also have
it made the top 5, so that's yeah. You know, honestly, the gaming awards, it wasn't very highly ranked either. Like,
nope, it
wasn't. Yeah, so I guess it wasn't as popular as people.
I bet Todd Howard went back to Bethesda and fired like 100 people.
Oh gosh, I hope not. I mean, anyway.
I mean, this year was tough. There were too many good games.
There was a lot of good games this year.
Good games,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Unlike the previous year, I might say.
Yeah.
This year we had a lot more.
A lot more
bigger games.
We got a lot more coming up.
So my top or my third is BattleBit. I think this is not even my style of game, but I think it fills every niche that people were looking for beforehand. You know, squad players, Call of Duty players, Battlefield players, especially since 2042. I think it definitely filled in that niche where people were looking for that game to play together. And the only points that you can knock off for it is its graphics. You know, it's like playing Minecraft.
I know. No. I think the graphics are.
I mean, hear me out. Guys. Hear me out. I'm just saying. Graphically, it's not impressive. You gotta admit that. It's not designed to be that way. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm fine with it. I'm just saying, like, if I were to knock it down, that would be my main criticism of it. Because people that play beautiful games, especially first-person shooters, they go to BattleBit, and you're like, "What is this rinky-dinky game?" But then you discover all the mechanics of inside that game. You're like, "Wow, if this was like a beautiful game, this would be a AAA title. You know, this would be an amazing game." I mean, and I think it's a great game for sure.
I mean, think about it. 3 guys made the game. 3 guys.
It's crazy.
You can't expect them to, like, you know.
No, and I get that.
You need a lot of people for that. You need a lot more people to develop those
I hope it never changes. That's all I'll say.
No, it's not. It's not. So
and we have people in the Discord server that didn't try it before because how it looks.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I remember,
and they love it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
A message to our viewers: if you guilt people long enough and a game goes on sale, you'll get them in there. Do not give up.
You gotta keep giving.
It is a phenomenal game. But when we move on, my number 3 game, and this is a game that I've not played. I did play the first iteration of this game on my PlayStation. It's Alan Wake. And Alan Wake was very close to... It won a lot of awards this year on the Game Awards. It's beautifully made. Like, the I've seen a lot of gameplay footage. And I played the first one. And the first one was very immersive, very story-driven. All you have is a flashlight. You know, you're walking around. You have one gun, you know, limited ammo. So you have to be very, very careful. So the gameplay is amazing. It's a very slow-paced, you know, investigative style of game, which is very, very in-depth. And when you look at the graphics of Alan Wake, it's such a great game. And Alan Wake 2, when you look at the graphics of it, just watch videos. This game is phenomenal. Like, beautiful ray tracing, the shadows, the reflections. It's out of this world. And the reason I did not play it is because it's an Epic Store exclusive right now. And I have Epic, and I have games on Epic, but I don't like the exclusivity of different retail stores online when they're like, okay, this game is only going to be there. It's the same thing when games came out, like Halo was only Xbox exclusive and God of War is PlayStation exclusive, so that kind of deal. But if it's coming out on PC, it should be, you know, for everybody. While I understand that the publishers and developers make these decisions and eventually it will make its way on Steam. Steam is my main library. That's where I play most of my games. So majority, like 99.99% of the time. Hence the reason I've not played it. But you can be sure of it that once this game comes on Steam, I will absolutely pick this up and play it, because Alan Wake, the first one, was amazing. And I'm pretty sure Alan Wake number 2, because of the reviews that it has, is also gonna be amazing.
I want to play it. I am just shocked that I somehow I didn't know anything about this game until I saw the Game Awards. I was like, wait,
absolutely.
what is this?
You're not gonna play this.
You did not hear. It's a little creepy at times, but I'll be honest. Like you didn't hear about it because it was not.
It's
on
a horror
Steam.
game.
It's a horror game.
Is it a jump scare?
Well, then I'll pass.
It's
Good luck,
it's
Alan.
not jump.
Hope you stay awake.
It's kind of jump scary for Rapo, but it is fun. It's very immersive. It's very detailed. You will enjoy it.
I mean, it wasn't even on my radar. First of all, it's like you said, epic, and then second of all, it's a horror game, so I'm not really into that anyway. I looked at it.
You play Demonologist, bro.
There's no zombies.
Yeah, but
there are no zombies in it.
I got a problem with zombies.
There are no zombies in Alan Wake.
I looked at it, especially when it went on the Game Awards, right? And I was like, you know what? It looks like a good game. How much of a good game it is, I can't really tell.
It looks great. It looks great.
If somebody likes those horror type games, then I get it. But yeah, I don't know. It's amazing that they picked that game, and I'm curious as to why that was rated so highly in the Game Awards, because the way the Game Awards works is that like top publishers and also like game media, so like IGN and stuff, they have a representative to vote for their top picks basically. And so I'm curious as to why they picked Alan Wake 2 and put it in there, since it was like exclusive to a certain platform and stuff like that.
Well, it was only exclusive on PC to the Epic Store,
right?
But it's on other platforms.
It's on.
It's
PlayStation 5 and Xbox.
Yeah, so it's on other platforms and people have played it. So it's not only exclusive to PC. On PC, it was exclusive only to Epic. Anyway, let's move on. What's your number 3, Sakura?
I already said my number.
We already did our. So next is number 2.
I can go again if you want.
Number 2 on the list.
So we're going to number 2.
Yeah. So my number 2 is BattleBit. And this was a really hard decision between my number 2 and my number 1 on which was where. I love BattleBit. Back to what Zach was saying earlier, which I totally understand graphically. It's not, a lot of people aren't a big fan, but I think that's one of the reasons why I love it so much, because they didn't compromise the quality of the graphics for the gameplay. And I think the gameplay is so much fun. If it looked like Squad or if it looked like Hell Let Loose, I probably wouldn't play it because it looks too serious. It's too intimidating. It's too, for someone who's not a great shooter, just wants to get in there and have fun. I spend hours in that game and I love it. I think it's fun to play with a group of people, but I can also play on my own. Yeah. I've challenged myself a lot in this game as a shooter game. I mean, you guys probably remember early on, I couldn't snipe because I would get nauseous, and now that's all I've done for the past month and a half is find a place to snipe from. And
Camper.
I've learned a lot about. I wish I could stay in one spot, but that's not how ADD works. So it's not really camping. It's like touring and touring different places. But I've learned a lot about the different weapons and the attachments, and Arlon has taught me a crap ton about that. Thank you, Arlon. And played a lot with me and helped me guilt other people who refused to play into playing, who finally played. But so that's my number 2. I think I checked, and me and Arlon, when I checked a couple weeks ago, Arlon had a little bit more in hours than me. So I didn't feel like I had just totally rock bottomed it. You know, we're in there together.
Arlon is always at the top scores in that game. He's just killing it.
Yeah, nice. I never am. I'm like in the last 10 at the bottom, but I love that. No one makes me feel bad. I don't feel like I'm bringing down the team. I like that there's no friendly fire. I don't feel as much pressure as when you guys guilt me into playing Hell Let Loose, and it gives me anxiety. Like, I can just relax and shoot. I love it. But that's my number 2. Who's going next? John, you want to go next?
So my number 2 is also BattleBit. So BattleBit came out this year. What a game. 3 developers. I knew
Thank you,
people.
Sergeant Okie Doke.
I knew people who played the beta and they were like, hey, check out this game. I was like, all right, what game is it? And I started playing it. And there were initially when the game came out, there were so many of us playing together. There were 16, how many was it initially? Like, is it still there? Like, you can have, 8-10 people in your squad?
8.
It was 8, right? Like, especially if you have a clan, you have like 8 people.
You can have 12 if you have.
Yeah. It's insane. Like, you have large squads, you're going and you're having fun. I did not judge the game on its graphics. I try to give every game its fair chance. Mm-hmm. And the amount of fun that game is with friends, yeah, sure, why not? It's not graphically enticing. It's supposed to be a Minecraft shooter, and it does what it's supposed to do really, really well. And their consistency of updates, consistency of map releases, active developer team, doing what they do best, releasing it, I would say I would categorically rate it as number 1 best to play with friends game.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Hands down. Like, I would call it the best game that came. And it saddens me that games like these do not make it into the Game Awards, because major publishers, major developers, and all those, and even indie titles go up there. But I was surprised to not see BattleBit over there. While I do understand this is a PC game, right? But it's that game that has delivered more than what Battlefield should have, what Call of Duty should have, and every other shooter that's out there. It did that and 10 times better with the graphics it has. It brought like so many different vehicles, helicopters. It has so much stuff in it. Rappelling. With a game that you would say like that's cheap, affordable, and has hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of, if not 1,000 hours of gameplay that you can get out of it, I would say, as people that have played BattleBit and continue to do so, we should support this development team anytime they bring a DLC out.
Sure. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that's my number 2.
I think that it's a hilarious game. So, it brings people together that don't normally play a shooter game or play different types of shooter games or war games in general. Brings them together, but then it creates some of the funniest moments.
Absolutely. I've had so many funny clips.
Best clips have been from BattleBit this year. Yeah. So
and the fact that you can talk to the other team in vocal chat.
Oh my gosh. The kill mic, which I had to turn mine off because I didn't want to get banned. I love the game too much. I didn't want to get in trouble.
Gamer girl?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Next.
I'll go next. Yeah, my number 2 is also BattleBit.
It's also
BattleBit. And you know what? It's what Jock and Kat said. One is the graphics, or the style gameplay. That's what makes it different from any other shooter game that I played, and that's what I like about it. And like Jock said, it's a great game that you can play with your friends because it's it's friendly, even though there's voice chatting and people are not really toxic. They usually, there might be one or two, but
comical toxicity.
Yeah, it's comical, exactly. And the fact you can drag the dead bodies and just talk smack and
seriously,
and they just go. So a lot of people actually they just play along. Like they're like, I need help, medic, and I don't know. I just love the gameplay. It's fast. I'm not too crazy about the last update on the pinging. Because now it's like it's like a hell let loose where you have to choose the option, the little wheel. So for me, it's such a fast-paced game that it's hard for me to ping something without dying, because I'm there looking for the option. So hopefully, I don't know if there's a way for me to just set one as a default, so I can just middle mouse click and pings it. Yeah. But hopefully
I think a lot of people are complaining about that too, and that's a good thing about these 3 guys is that they really seem to listen to people. I've joined their Discord, and they're all the time. I think once a week they create a stage and talk to people about some of the updates or some of the feedback they've gotten. So that's another huge plus to probably any indie game where they
absolutely
care at all about how people enjoy their game.
It seems like they're really happy doing what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
So. Labor of love.
All right, Arlon, what is your number 2?
Well, this is also difficult for me because this is the game I have played the most this year, but I also think it's BattleBit.
Okay. Hell yeah!
Nice. Wow.
Solid. It's a solid 2 for everybody.
Yeah, 4 out of 5. It's up there. Sakurai is battle
Zach.
yours too.
I already said it.
It's number 3 for me.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I mean, and to add to what you guys have said, yeah, I mean, like, it's amazing how well behaved people is on voice chat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was expecting something really disrespectful, but everyone is, like you said, you can, like, talk a little bit. But even in the rules, they say you can do it, but don't overdo it. Or you will get banned, no politics. And people follow the rules for the most.
You don't see near as many, like, people just being total D-bags.
Yeah, I mean, don't get us wrong. It still happens. But
it seems like fair expectations. Like, Arlon will tell you, people don't pick you up. In this game, you don't get mad. You're just like, screw it.
Yeah.
You're just like, whatever, you know.
And also the F1 button to mute people is like really easy.
That is so, the F1.
If somebody's really like spamming music or something, I'm like, okay, F1, I don't hear them anymore.
No, and Nick is going up. If there's more people talking, you get F1, F2, F3.
Exactly.
It's so easy. You're one of my favorite people to play that game with. Don't tell the others. You and Awesome. And obviously Parapo and obviously Zach.
All right.
Wow.
And
that was a whole bunch of BS right there. That's what that is.
I look to see if you're in a map, and if you are, I just sneak on in there.
Listen, anything is better than the 2000s and 2010s Call of Duty lobbies multiplayer. Okay, most cancerous, toxic, racist that came out of Call of Duty voice chat, nobody can top that.
Do you ever wonder where are they now? Probably not.
Where are you now?
No, I kind of agree. The community's been surprisingly behaved for what it is. I thought it was going to be much worse because of the cross communication between teams, right? So like, I've been in a situation in that game where I'm yelling at somebody not to kill me, and we're in the same house, and they're talking to me through the walls. You know, like, you're not gonna get me, and he's like, I'm gonna get you, mother. You know, and we're all like, you're not gonna get her. You know, yelling at each other.
You know, actually, now that you mentioned that, I've actually met like 3 people in game that have ended up adding me on Steam and like joining us to play like the next match, even if they were on the other side.
Yeah, because we're not just messing around in there.
Yeah,
you know?
it's all fun.
We're not sweaty.
I wish most shooters take things from this game, like the party system.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll be able to ignore it, Arlon.
Yeah, in most games it's impossible to keep playing with your friends sometimes. Join mid-game. This game will automatically keep you together on the same side and all that.
You know, so all of that user interface type stuff that Battlefield did, I agree with you, Arlon. AAA titles can't ignore this kind of stuff. This is the stuff that we've been asking for over 15 years in first-person shooter multiplayer games. You got to be able to play with your friends. You got to make it easier. You can't make it harder. You got to be able to put the mute feature. Like that is like basic stuff that should be in these first-person shooter games. And I'm glad that BattleBit brought it, to their game. And I hope that other games take that lesson from BattleBit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Come on, Sakurai.
Right, so here I am going to destroy
mess it up.
He's going to mess it up.
All right, so you guys are going to be surprised at my number 2. It's going to be Starfield. So I think most of you thought I was going to put it at number 1, but it is number 2. It is one of my favorite games this year. I would say almost the favorite game of this year for me. But it comes in at number 2 because the things that Jock was saying before, there are some limitations that Bethesda just stopped. You know, they came to a point and they said, "This is how we're gonna put the game out. This is the game that we're gonna give to you, and whatever you do with it, it's going to make it better, of course, but we're stopping the line here, and then modders take over, basically." And I think, I've heard this criticism of Starfield many times before, it's not very innovative. Okay, I agree. It's not a very like new subject, or it's the subject is new, but the gameplay is not. The gameplay is the same. It has not changed. And for somebody like me, I loved it. But for somebody that's looking for a game that's very like how I was talking about Hi-Fi Rush, where I was like, oh wow, this is interesting. It's not that. It's all about the story that they set it forth and the side quests and stuff like that. That's why it reached number 2 for me, because I sunk hours into that game, and I loved it. But I understand why it can't be number 1.
I mean, imagine, right, Zach? So, when you go visit all those temples that nobody's ever seen, and you land there, and then there are pre-constructed buildings over there, and then there are enemies over there, there are mercs over there, and you're like, these guys are here. Nobody's ever seen these temples, but they're here, and I'm here, and how am I the first person to visit this temple when there are procedurally generated buildings and structures already close by to it, where people used to work at one time? Things like that.
Yeah, there's like somebody working at this thing right next to this temple. How they discovered it?
See, that breaks immersion for me. Like, how did they not report like, oh, there's a gravitational disturbance. There's a disturbance of the force here. Nobody ever said that. You feel a disturbance.
Definitely,
of the
they
force.
should have picked that up.
Come on, man. Like, those things should not exist. While I understand that they can say, oh, but that might be an error on your part. No, it's not. It's not. And that in certain aspects you lacked, and maybe your development and your management teams rushed you to finish a product that should have taken a little longer to be refined. Anyway, moving on, getting off my horse. Just beating a dead horse now.
All right, so number 1 let's go with Kat again. We'll start the.
All right, so we're at number 1.
Jockey, I was the last one.
Everybody did their number 2.
Yeah.
You messed it up. All right, so my number 1 was Zelda.
All right.
I spent so much time in Zelda. I went down the rabbit hole pretty hard. Actually, at first, it wasn't. I kind of, as time went, I went further and further down the rabbit hole. I beat the main quest, and then I had to find all the shrines, and I had to find all the light roots, and
I'm.
You know what it is? It's the challenge of it, because I still am only at like 60%, and there are very few things left I have to do. It's those flippin' Koroks. But I loved it. I didn't comment much earlier when you were talking about it, Zach, because it's 5-1. I had a long way to go. But I thought that the story was great. I personally didn't feel like it was a Breath of the Wild Part 2. I also don't necessarily agree with people who say the map is exactly the same, because I see the small touches where they changed it for the story, and I can appreciate that. I do wish it hadn't taken so long for it to come out. I was not a fan at first of some of the new mechanics. I thought that they made it way too easy, and in a lot of ways they did, because when you can shoot up through the certain spot and get exactly where you need to go without having to complete the puzzle, that takes away for a lot of people. It didn't take away from me, because I had tried like 50 times and said, F it, I'm just gonna cheat. My version of cheat, or glitch the game.
Glitches for that.
But I think just because of my love of the world of Zelda, that was why it was number 1 for me. It was very close with BattleBit, because both have brought me about the same amount of happiness and joy. I've rage quit Zelda a few times, rage quit BattleBit a few times, but I think that for me, it was Zelda, 100%.
That's awesome.
Am I the only one here that played it?
I did not play it.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I can go next if that's okay. And
go ahead.
For me, it's also Tears of the Kingdom, the same.
Oh,
that's also my number 1.
I guess I should have specified Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
if it wasn't obvious.
I think that's one of those games where you can go back 3 years later and play it, and it'll be just as fun, because there's so much you can do. I love the 3 tiers. The sky, the land, and the depth.
Those fucking depths are so scary.
I've already found all the shrines, all the light roots, everything. And I've done a lot, and I think I'm barely at 51%, if I'm a 51%. But there's just so much you can do. And the Koroks, mostly it's just what it's a pain in the butt. But again, this is a game that I know I can play forever, and it'll always be good. And I like the mechanics. I like the way
well, you did a lot of glitches and duplications and stuff.
Again, glitches are so much fun. I did update.
I didn't do any of that stuff.
I did do the first update, which patched the easiest duplication glitch there was, but I didn't update it from there on. So I still have my, I think it's 1.1 or something, where I still have a glitch. It's not cheating, but it's a glitch.
It's cheesing.
Cheesing. Yeah.
It's
cheesing. It's cheese. Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, it has come a long way since The Legend of Zelda back in the late 80s, early 90s when I was playing that game. Like,
you're talking about pixel Zelda.
Yeah, like on the NES, I was like, man, the story of Zelda has really come a long way. Yeah. We couldn't even save in the original, and like we had to just do the whole thing.
You had to
in one sitting. Yeah.
Talk about anxiety.
Like we used to put, like, I used to tell my sister, like, don't touch the TV because this has to stay on pause. I have to go eat dinner.
Like, burn the image into your TV while you're at school, leaving it on.
Touch the TV. Like, TV had to stay on. The Nintendo was on, and I was like, I'm gonna go eat dinner and then come back here. But yeah, like it's come a long way. It's great. I really enjoyed it.
The very first Zelda game that I played was Breath of the Wild. That was the very first one that I ever played. I do have on the Nintendo Switch. I do have the Nintendo and Super Nintendo games for free that I can play, and I see them everywhere. So one day I'm gonna go and
you really should play.
Check it out. I've
Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and
there's a lot of titles for Zelda that keeps popping up, and I want to play it and see what it's all about.
That'll be good. You get to play the originals, you get a feel for the original story, and so on and so forth.
It's gonna be a letdown compared to like
graphically, you'll learn a lot about the characters.
Yeah.
That way. So, all right. Who's gonna go next?
Arlon.
For
I want Arlon to go.
Yeah, I want Jock to go last because I know it's gonna be big, and I'm excited. You guys know how passionate he is about games and stuff. So he has to go last.
All right. So for me, my best game this year has been Cyberpunk.
Yes.
With the update 2.0 and the Phantom Liberty DLC. Yeah. It's because since they announced this game, I have always been a fan of cyberpunk movies like Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell. I like all of that. And in the beginning, the game launch was rough for some people.
Yeah.
I also enjoy it. I didn't get that many bugs, but now it feels like a different game. And I also replaying it now with a different character, a different way of playing it, like a different class. So it's amazing because I am playing now with Sandevistan and Blades, and I never did that before.
I didn't do that either.
Before I was Netrunner and
I was a Netrunner. Corpo Netrunner was my first one.
Yeah, and I guess and while I am playing it, I am thinking I could play this again now with a different way, like maybe hang all weapons. I have never done that in Cyberpunk, and I'm thinking the next time I will play will be like a shooter. I will just go assault rifles, shotguns, grenades. So for me, and the setting of the world is amazing, and for me that's my top game this year.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. The reason I say that is because even our theme for our podcast is very neon and very retro, right? And Cyberpunk is the same way. It's very futuristic, yet retro and neon. And when I saw that, I was really impressed by it. And I was one of those first people that, that bought the game beforehand, and bought it and played it. And I agree with Arlon. Initially, it was very, even I had a 3070, and at that time, 3070 was a big card, not anymore. But even then, I was struggling on that game. Getting frames was painful. Now it's complete opposite. Like
it's polished now.
It's polished. It runs beautifully. I haven't played it since the major update came out, but I'm really, once I'm done with my Destiny grind, which I've been playing these days, I intend to get Phantom Liberty and play it. because that's a game that I thoroughly enjoyed. And like he said, he played Netrunner. That's exactly how I played my first time. And there are many ways you can play. You can have bladed arms. You can have a gun-dependent person. And, you know, with the voice acting on that game is also phenomenal, and especially them getting Idris Elba, a big name in Hollywood, coming out of British theaters and British shows, you know, that makes a big difference on a game. And CD Projekt Red has more or less every time delivered on their games, maybe the Witcher series, and now, you know, with Cyberpunk.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. Like CDPR is just they haven't half-assed any of their.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, they definitely have been putting out good stuff. You know?
They put work in, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go first, Zach? You want me to go first?
Yeah, Jock's going last. You go first, Zach.
So my number one pick is a game I've never played before, and it's Baldur's Gate 3.
Interesting.
So I've watched countless hours of gameplay of this game. I've talked to everybody that's played this game. And I think, for me, when I get this game, I'm going to sink a good 200 hours into this game.
I'll play with you.
I'm going to love it.
Same.
It's going to be a really good game for me. And I know that this is my personal opinion on it, but I know that I'm going in the right direction when a lot of other reviewers and other people and friends, Discord members tell me this game is going to be one that they could play over and over again.
Absolutely.
And like with the mods and stuff, like it was already a polished game outright, and then if you add mods, you can change the whole game. I think it's going to be a game to remember, that they are going to look back on and say, hey, remember when they put out this game? We're going to have to do better than them. And they're going to be a precipice where they say, hey, look, we have to beat this game. We have to make something better than this. So that's why it's my top.
Very nice. All right, Jock.
You guys want to guess
Tell
what
us.
my top game is?
Is it Tetris?
Is it the game of the century?
It's game of the decade. It is Baldur's
Game of
Gate
the
3.
decade.
As you guys know, I absolutely love this game. This game is the game that, you know, I didn't think I would enjoy it this much, as somebody who's barely ever played CRPGs, and I played the first Divinity. I did not play second Divinity, which is made by Larian, which is the same studio who made Baldur's Gate 3. But this game is the best game. Like, it's so good. The voice acting, the guy that voiced Astarion won Best Voice Actor of the Year during the Game Awards. Like, this game is so good. Like, imagine Free Will, but in a video game, right? You did this. Now, hey, some of our people are hurt. They're captured. Go save them. All right.
But don't take a nap.
Don't take a nap. They don't tell you not to take a nap. I decided, hey, you know what? My spells have been used up. Let's take a long rest. And tomorrow we're gonna go fight these people. Come to find out, those people have been executed and they're all dead. Just because I decided to
They're
sleep.
gonna haunt you from beyond the grave.
I was like, God damn it! And you hate yourself. You're like, God, man. And then the next playthrough, you can save them, or you can choose to kill everybody. It's imagine when I say a free will, you can choose to kill every single other person on this entire map. There's a video that I saw on Reddit yesterday, and somebody played the entire game, and all they did was collect explosive barrels from the entire game. And then they went around the map and they set up explosive barrels next to every single person on that map. And they blew every single person in the game up.
That's awesome.
At one time?
They're gone. Yeah, they
That's
went.
awesome.
No,
Holy
there
crap.
was sequence, like a big town square, and there are barrels everywhere, and people are right next to them, and they blew them, and there was a chain reaction, and you could see that person's graphics card was struggling to keep up with the game,
Wow.
with the amount of explosions that were going on. The title was "I Killed Everybody in Baldur's Gate 3," and it was hilarious.
That's amazing.
I saw that video. I was laughing so hard. I had tears coming out. I was like,
That's pretty cool that
It's
you
so
can
good.
plan something like that out,
yeah. And I don't want to give you spoilers because I know you haven't played the game, but you'll fall in love with Karlach. who was the best Bay in the game. Second to Shadow Bay. Well, Shadow Bay was my number one, but Karlach. But you'll get to know those characters. Listen, listen.
I'm telling you.
Listen, you can become evil. You can be good. You can be lawful neutral. You can be chaotic evil. You can be chaotic good. You can be a paladin. Listen, man, the opportunities are endless, and I would love to play it with you guys. Like, I've played it. I don't want to play it by myself anymore, but I would love it. Like, if some of y'all get the game and decide, like, hey, after your first playthrough, I highly recommend you decide, like, let's second playthrough, let's play together. I'm down for it. We're gonna have so much fun. We're gonna have a good time, and it's gonna be the game that we. And there's more to come. There are gonna be DLCs for this game, and absolutely, I'm gonna get them. That's my number one game.
Well, that's everyone's number one.
Yeah, that's everybody's.
So what do you want to do next, Zach?
All right. So what I had planned was to put all the games up, and we kind of like rank how we feel is gonna be our collective list, basically our top 5. Oh, you know what? Some honorable mentions were mentioned.
Yes, that is one thing I was just gonna say is and if I know we're going over our normal episode time, but that's just part of our gift to you.
This is going to be a special episode.
We're celebrating right now. But if anyone else has any honorable mentions, please join me in this. I wanted to mention the Fortnite Find the Force event from back in May, because I thought it was only for about a month, but I think it was just the month of May. That was some of the most fun I've had in Fortnite in a long time. I love the skins. I have a ton of skins from it. But also the in-game events were really fun and creative. And I don't know if anyone else has any honorable mentions. I have a not so honorable, so I'll do that last.
I actually do. I have a couple of them that I want to mention. One is Sons of the Forest. I love those survival games. I don't know if you guys know this game.
Yeah,
it is very scary, and
that's
which I love
that. It's upside down.
Yeah. It's a sequel of The Forest, which I think it came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But pretty much the same thing. But I love the scariness of it, because all you hear is the forest, and sometimes you hear things, and you have to.
The weird cannibals charging.
Sometimes you hear the suns.
And then you're trying to build your shit just so you don't get killed, and I just love it. Yeah. I love the feeling of being in danger all the time.
That's funny.
And there's another one for Nintendo Switch, which is Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I don't know if you guys... I've heard of that
recently, but I've never seen any play of it.
I've never played it, but I do follow a lot of streamers that play Mario Maker, which I love. And they've been playing this new Mario Wonders, and it's just so good. It is technically still a 2D, being that when you're playing it, you still go left and right.
Yeah, it's a scroller.
Right, and but it's I don't know, they just added so many things to it. Like some random map, you'll hear the piranha plant singing along and just walking around and just singing a tune and just trying to survive, the singing.
Yeah.
And after every map, I guess, or section that you play, it does become sort of like a open world to where you can just walk to any other level that you want to play.
Oh, okay.
And each level gives you this seed that you have to collect to unlock other levels, other maps, other parts of the map. And it just looks so amazing. And I think it's been a while, I think, since the new Mario game came out, but they did really well on this one.
That's good.
Nice.
I haven't played it yet. I do want to get it, but
I'm always like really skeptical when it comes to Mario games, because for the most part, Mario games has like 2 different ways you play Mario game, and it's been that way since like 1985. Like it's always been like a side scroller or the open world type of kind of concept, where like kind of like the Galaxies ones where you first or now the Odyssey style where it's also open world. But so I was kind of hesitant to like even get Wonders. I have it, and I'm gonna gift it to one of my children probably, but I'll be looking forward to it this Christmas holiday.
Nice.
Nice.
Anyone else have an honorable mention?
I do not have anything.
Arlon?
How about Jedi Survivor?
Well, so that's not an honorable mention for me.
Really?
Is anyone else not surprised that didn't make it on any of our lists? As big of a game as that should have been.
I mean, we are Star Wars fans. I know me and Kat are.
I guess not
fans.
All of us here are. Some of us more than others, but that was going to be my not so honorable mention. I know some of our Discord members played it. I know Ed played it, and they liked it, but for the most part, what I heard was that it was very glitchy. The graphics were not the greatest, similar to Fallen Jedi, which I was okay with at the time, but I also didn't pay full price for that game. So
yeah. I mean, from what I hear, it's just a continuation of that storyline.
Yeah.
So you play that game just for the storyline, not for the
and I've watched a lot of over an hour and a half of the cinematics, and the cinematics are great. The story is good. It's the gameplay that's lacking. Those getting stuck in those rocks gets annoying, I'm sure.
Fair enough.
But
all right, so let's start like we did it before. What should be the number 5 game? So on here it says D on the side, but we'll just say that's number 5. So what should be in the number 5 slot? And we can go through each game here, and we can kind of move it around if you want to do it that way.
You're talking about the list that's right below it. Is that the
so
list?
I can move these up here like
so
this.
That's the list of stuff that we
so
just
let's say
went over
I had
our...
my Starfield at 2. Some of you had your Starfield at like 5 or 4.
Yeah.
So we can put it in the middle here.
I would say, for me, I would put Starfield in D.
D?
Mm-hmm. Now let's vote on it. Who else would put it on D?
I agree. Yeah,
I agree.
That's pretty fair. Yeah.
All right.
Damn.
Sakurai.
What the hell? What the hell? I don't get no say in this. I'm okay. I'm all right. I'll leave it.
All right.
So what if we do the games that we've all played? Just because I won't know where to put the ones on that list that I haven't played.
Right. Call your game.
Let's just do the next one. Where would Zelda go if Starfield's had D?
I'd say number 1 or S, but
1 or 2 is my S.
Let's just put it here, and then we'll put another game, and if it knocks it down, then we'll go through that. What about BattleBit?
Okay. Oh, number 1.
So I think it would be above Zelda for sure.
I would put it in A as well. Oh, are we doing one game per slot?
Yeah. Let's just do one game per slot, and we'll get.
I would put it in A. All
right.
I would say A.
So let's say if we put Hogwarts, which is not going to happen. Let's say if we wanted to put this in S, then it would knock down the other 2 down.
Okay.
Does it? Put it up there and see what happens.
No, it would just go next to it. So I don't think Hogwarts belongs
anywhere
on this ranking.
So we're saying top 5. Okay, yes, I agree.
Because if Starfield's the bottom of that list, it definitely doesn't go above Starfield.
Baldur's Gate probably.
Yeah.
So Baldur's Gate
probably an A. Honestly,
That's
probably knocks Zelda down.
So my feeling is it would be better than BattleBit or Zelda, but we're gonna have to vote on this one because this is the number 1 title for a lot of people.
It's hard to. I'll go with whatever you want on that. It's kind of hard to put some games that
we can vote on it.
Yeah, I call a vote.
I'll just give it to you just because I haven't played it.
I haven't played it either, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Arlen.
I think of all the games, Baldur's Gate is the best game. Even though I haven't played.
I was gonna say I haven't played it either, but I know that's got to be up there. So I think it might be.
I'll give it to you guys.
I would go
and then BattleBit and Zelda.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree with that.
Okay.
So let's move it down. All right, the next game, Alan Wake 2. So is Alan Wake 2 better than Starfield? That's what we're figuring out right now.
Well,
I've never even seen gameplay of it. So
I was the only one that had it on my list, I would not even put it up there because I none of us have played it.
Gotcha.
I've seen a lot of gameplay of it, but at the same time, I would not put it on the list just because the reason that this is a list surprised of our opinions.
I think the only other one that should go up there that would make sense is the Cyberpunk. Really, because
I would put Cyberpunk even above Starfield.
So C.
So C.
I would say Cyberpunk goes C over Starfield.
Okay.
Hey, we're gonna vote on it.
I mean, this is very difficult for me because I love Cyberpunk 2077, but come on, I don't know. Like,
you know, the gameplay is so much better. You know that. You know the amount
your personal list can look different because mine does. But if we're just doing like based on
all of ours opinion,
all right.
Yeah. But the rest of them, none of the rest belong up there. If we're
if we're just gonna do what we can do is we can leave these up there and then we can put the other ones in there too, like for fun.
We can rank the other ones.
But I think this right here will be our collective
the cream
top
of the
5.
crop.
Baldur's Gate 3, BattleBit Remastered, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Phantom Liberty, and Starfield. So those are the top games collectively for this year for us.
Absolutely.
All right.
I agree with this list.
All right, so let's put in let's kind of fill in the blanks over here. Where do you think Hogwarts belongs? Since we know we can see.
Not even on the list.
Yeah, I'm just for clarity. Are we comparing them now to the ones that are left? Or what are they up against, I guess?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a wonderful question.
I'm just a little bit. I think we leave the 5 up there. The ones that didn't make it, they don't belong.
They don't belong. I would not even bother. I agree with Kat on this. Like, those are our top 5. I think we should stick to that. Everything else is...
They made it on multiple of our lists.
But it's not the top 5. The top 5 is the top 5. You can't have a top 5 plus,
Plus,
All right, so I'm happy with the list that we have. Collectively,
I'm very happy.
Yeah,
with it.
I
Makes
think
sense.
those games are pretty well spot on, and I think the Game Awards got it right for Baldur's Gate 3, even though they weren't very like, I don't know. I kind of skeptical sometimes about how the Game Awards works. You know,
listen. You're only skeptical because you have not played the game. Once you play the game,
I'm not
no longer be
I'm
skeptical.
not saying anything about Baldur's Gate 3. I'm kind of skeptical of how
everyone's skeptical on how they collect.
I don't know if that's like if what they're doing.
I mean, people vote, but I'm sure they go by sales and
the reviews.
Dude, we're not bashing Baldur's Gate 3.
More than 500,000.
We're more critical on how they conduct the awards, sir. Like, you know, how they.
That I agree with. Yes. And, you know, I talked about
because, like we said, BattleBit's not even
list.
on their awards thing, and it was such an innovative way of a first-person shooter. It should have at least been mentioned. You know,
I do feel like it targets a certain kind of gamer, though. So it's not gonna grab. I mean, if there was a pool of people who want to play a game like Baldur's Gate or a shooter game, there's just a bigger, I would just guess, a bigger group of people that would want to play.
I think they just target the mainstream audience, not everybody. Yeah.
Plus, I'm glad that, BattleBit is... Yeah. It's our game. We don't want other people playing it. It's hard enough to find a good server.
Hey, even if it's not on their list, it's on our list. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's in our hearts.
It's in our hearts.
All right, so let's start wrapping it up. We are talking our heads off over here.
Yeah, you are. So, Zach, or you said we're gonna do another giveaway.
Yeah, I wanted to do a one last giveaway for Christmas, holiday season, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate or not celebrate, just because it's the time of giving for me. I want to do a giveaway to anybody who is in our Discord server. So if you want to be entered into this Wheel of Death, it will be decided if you are in our Discord server. And it will be a mystery key again. I will not tell you what key you're going to win.
You will find out once you get it.
How do they find our Discord?
The link will be in our YouTube channel or in the, if you're listening on audio, the link will be in the audio description as well.
It's also on TikTok.
It's on
if you are on our TikTok.
Player 2 Star podcast.
Yeah. All right. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to tell me,
concerns about Sakurai's man bun,
that could be.
If you want to tell him how great his hair looks,
I will accept all those emails at player2starpodcast@gmail.com. And we look forward
Thanks,
to...
Bravo and Arlon, for joining us. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for inviting us.
Guests. Yeah. You are our first official guest.
Hopefully you guys come back to visit us.
Yeah,
all right.
It was a lot of fun.
Sure,
awesome.
yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening, and we shall see you next time.
Thank you.
See you next year.
Bye. See you next year.
Bye.